Welcome to Not Starving Artist, the podcast. I'm your host, Brooke Benson, money coach and equity actor. I am your financial cheerleader, here to help you build your financial confidence and have power over your money. The best part, no budgeting or bi-weekly paychecks required. I went from being a broke BFA grad having weekly panic attacks about money to a financially confident, wealth-building actor and business owner. Money gets to feel fun, simple, and sexy, and I am going to show you how. Before we dive into the episode, I am so excited to share with you that my brand new online course, Cashed Up Creatives, is officially out now. Now, this course is for my artists with neurospicy brains, my bi-weekly paycheck cuties who just don't want a budget, or anyone who wants to get out of that paycheck to paycheck cycle and finally experience financial wellness. This course is for you. It's gonna help you get 3 months ahead on bills. It's gonna help you pay off debt while you still take vacations. It's gonna help you manage your fluctuating or consistent income with ease. You're gonna be able to confidently talk to your parents or partner about your money decisions. You're gonna be able to open a retirement account and invest your first or next $500. You're always gonna have surplus in your bank account, and it's gonna teach you how to ditch your scarcity mindset so you can feel abundant with money. Now, this is a self-study course, meaning that when you make your one-time payment of $247, you have immediate access to the course content for life. And on top of lifetime access, the best part about what I'm sharing with you today is that for the rest of 2025, I am going to be hosting live monthly office hours for anyone who has joined the course. Totally for free, included with the price that you pay for the course itself. I, of course, recommend joining as soon as possible because the earlier you join, the more of those monthly office hours calls that you are going to get to attend. I cannot wait to see you inside and to help you get cashed up. Hi, everyone. What you are about to hear for the next 10 weeks on the podcast is replays of the Instagram live series I did at the beginning of this year called Money Affirmations series. How to actually make more money in 2025 with mantras and affirmations, with mindset work. Also, if you're hearing ambient noise in the background, it's because I'm in the Delta Sky Lounge because I wasn't able to record this before I left for my trip this week. So that's what you're hearing. And I'm excited to bring this to you all on the podcast. One, because now the Instagram live series is buried in the feed. And I know a lot of people have been like, wait, where can I find it? I can't figure out where those days are. Okay. It's here. It's now going to live in the podcast. I also know that it was so impactful for the people who did go through it at the beginning of this year, the amount that they were able to crack open into their actual money mindset blocks and then actually were able to make more money from this series, which is what I want for all of you. So if you have done it before, time to revisit. We are well into Q2, so it is time to revisit these affirmations. Go through it again and see what shifted for you from the first time you've done it. And if you haven't done it yet, great. Welcome to the party. Let's get you working on your mindset in a way that's actually going to benefit you tactically. We love when you feel better. We love when you feel more ease. We love when you feel more abundant in your headspace. But I want to make sure that this is actually translating then to your tactical action, to your actual bank accounts. Okay. That's what this series is. So for the next 10 weeks, you're going to get, it was a 10-day series when I did it on Instagram. So you'll get one day each week for the next 10 weeks, especially if you've been avoiding journaling or wanting to do mindset work, but not really sure, how to dive in. Do I do a prompt? Do I do a meditation? This is a great place to start. Let's dive deep. I'm going to be right there with you going through this affirmation series again as well. Let's enjoy and let's make more money in the rest of 2025. Morning, everyone. Welcome to day 3 of Money Affirmations that actually work. And what we mean by actually work is that actually bring you in more money in 2025. So one of my big missions here at Not Starving Artist is we're blending the tactical money action with the mindset money action. And one of the myths that I continually want to dispel is that the mindset work that we do, doing affirmations, doing that woo-woo stuff, tapping into our emotions, it's not just so that we feel better internally. I really want you all to understand how much the mindset stuff, the stuff we do in our brain, literally affects the tactical way that you manage money, the practical ways that then money starts functioning in your life, okay? So that's a big part of what we are doing during this 10-day series. is we're taking affirmations that you could turn into a little Pinterest graphic, and that could look real cute on, as you're scrolling through Pinterest. We're taking them and then making them actually feel like something to you and work for you, so that you're not just reciting affirmations for nothing, so that this year you can use these affirmations and use mindset work to actually bring in more money. Because at the end of the day, that's what all of this money work is for. I mean, that's what everyone wants, right? We want more money in the bank account. We want more money coming in on our paychecks. We want more money invested. We want more money to be able to give away. We want more money to spend. It's more money. Everyone wants more money. So what we're going to do is we're going to choose another affirmation today. I'm going to refresh us on the first 2 days of the affirmations we did. So day 1 was I release all resistance to attracting money. And day 2 was making money is easy and enjoyable. So I'm going to pick another affirmation today. Yesterday, someone dropped that they wanted number 4, and I didn't see it before I picked our affirmation. So we're going to do number 4 today. Michelle, this one's for you. Number 4 is every dollar I spend circulates and returns to me multiplied. I'm going to say that again. Every dollar I spend circulates and returns to be multiplied. Okay, so first thing, like we did with the other 2 days, what immediately came up for you? So what thoughts went through your brain? Usually with affirmations, our brain wants to immediately categorize it into true and untrue. True or false, right or wrong, correct or incorrect, right? So what did your brain do when it heard that information? But then what happened in your body? Was it exciting? Was it expansive? Was it restricting? Did something feel weird? Like, what happened then in your physical body? So when you're doing affirmations, you want to focus on ones that feel like something to you. So if you were to read a list, like I'm not going to read the full 10 because we haven't gotten through all of them yet. But if I were to read all 10 of these affirmations, you'd probably have a handful that made you feel something or have a lot of thoughts or you really reacted to. And then you'd have some of them where you're like, meh, like they wouldn't really hit or it wouldn't feel like anything to you. So you want ones that make you feel something, good or bad. I mean, I don't want to live in that binary of good or bad, but whatever you feel, feeling something means that you're having a reaction, and a reaction means that's something to look into. Whether it's a super expansive, exciting energy, great, that's an affirmation that's already working. Let's keep vibing with that. Let's keep journaling on that. Let's keep saying that to yourself. But if it's an averse reaction, I know I have had clients who have had an averse reaction to this one specifically. Again, to say it, every dollar I spend circulates and returns to me multiplied. I have had clients who have had averse reactions to that of like, that is no way that's true, because every time I spend money, it just feels like my bank accounts go down and they don't come back up, right? Or like intellectually not fully like wanting to get on board with the flow of money, right? Of not really believing that when money leaves, it comes back and it comes back multiplied. So the first thing I want to say here with this affirmation, I'm going to give you a tactical thing to start getting into the energy of money being a circulating flow of like, it leaves and it comes back, it leaves and it comes back. And when it comes back, it always comes back multiplied. A really easy way to start tapping into this is to talk to your money every time you swipe your card or you hit submit payment. Anytime you're utilizing dollars, I want you to like say it softly to yourself, or like if you're in your apartment hitting submit payment on rent or you're buying something online. But if you're in a coffee shop and you swipe your card, I want you to like say it to yourself in your head, or like as you're walking to pick up your coffee, you're going to softly talk to your money where you're like, hey baby, I'll see you soon. Okay. Go bring your friends. I just opened this new high yield savings account. We have so much room for you and your friends. Come back. I can't wait to see you soon. Like, as silly as that is, that's going to help you start thinking about money in a way where every time you spend, it feels like you're earning. Okay. And with this, I've also heard there's resistance to this affirmation where like, if I truly believe this, I'm just going to spend anything and everything because I'm believing that it's coming back to me, but then it's not going to come back to me and then I'm going to be broke. But the thing about this affirmation is that if you truly believe that it's all going to come back to you multiplied, you won't have the urge to spend and spend and spend and spend and not do anything else with your money. I think let me go on an abundance girly rant for a second. So we love abundance. We love believing that there's always more coming, okay? But the thing about abundance and the pitfall of it is that abundance girly mindset can easily turn into head in the sand, can easily turn into more's coming, swipe the card, I'm good, see, everything's good. My bank accounts are over here, but I can't even see them. So as long as I'm right here, more money's coming, and I'm so wealthy and I'm so rich. But the thing is, if that abundance mindset only works when you're not looking at your numbers, when you're not being intentional about the practical management of your dollars, then that's not real abundance. That is naivete. That is ignorance. That's not the same thing as abundance. So if you're truly feeling abundant, if you are truly leaning into this affirmation of every dollar I spend circulates and returns to be multiplied, you won't feel like this, because overspending is a symptom of scarcity. Overspending is, I don't believe that I can actually manage my money well to be able to save and invest and do all of the things that I want to do with my money. So spending feels the most good now. So I'm just going to spend and spend and spend. It's a sneaky version of scarcity, overspending is. And so if you're truly believing that every dollar you spend circulates and comes back to you multiplied, you're going to be excited not only about spending your dollars, but giving your dollars more places to hang out when she does come back to you with all of her friends. So this is practical action, right? Do you have a money management system that's really simple to utilize, to understand your dollars and where they're going, to flow in and out of? Do you have a system for it to circulate through? So there's an energetic stuckness that comes when you just have your one checking account, or even like one checking, one savings, but your money might feel really stagnant in there. I see a lot, this is another symptom of feeling scarcity, is wanting to hoard your money or wanting to see it all in one place all the time, wanting to see it in the one checking account, not wanting to move it to savings, because as long as I have a ton in checking, then I won't overdraft and I'm going to feel good because when I spend, it's not going to go down, like it's big enough that I'm not going to feel when I spend, right? Keeping it stuck there, or in your savings, having one savings account that doesn't really have any tangible intentions. Putting money into that account and then never using it means you're stagnating the flow of money, right? Money isn't able to circulate and move around and do the things it's supposed to do, right? Which is flow. There's a reason I call the money management system I teach my clients the money flow method, right? It's because money is flowing through your bank accounts. And yes, there are sections of your money that will sit in your possession for a lot longer, right? So for example, a 3-month buffer fund, right? Or your emergency fund. That's going to sit and not be touched as much as your other savings funds, which those of you who have been here around a while, you have heard me talk about Ally. We love their savings buckets. Ally has a savings account feature where inside of your savings account, you can split your money up into literal buckets where it says travel, headshots, annual fees and manager fees. You could have your 3 months ahead on bills buffer there, your pet fund, your medical fund. There's so many different funds that you can have inside of your one savings account. Now, those funds are going to go up and down throughout the year. That savings account for me, so I have my 3 months ahead on bills and emergency fund over in a bank called Marcus by Goldman Sachs. It's a high yield savings account that earns what I think it's like 3.8% right now interest with the inflation rates. That's standard for online banks. If you are not in a high yield savings account, you are missing out on money. I've earned like $300 in one of my savings account this year just for it sitting there. Okay. That's more than the couple of pennies that Bank of America is throwing into your savings account. So I have that money set aside in Marcus, but then my sinking funds, that's what I call them. These are your buckets, the things that you're using throughout the year. That amount
fluctuates drastically for me month to month to month. Because sometimes I'm spending $1,200 on a headshot session. Sometimes I'm spending $800 on travel and flights. So those are going to fluctuate up and down. And then sometimes I put money back in. So with the money flow method, why it's called the money flow is because your money's flowing through it. And yes, sometimes money's being sectioned off to be held for a long time, right? In an emergency fund or in your investment accounts. But then a bulk of your money is also being money flowed through your system. What is that? If you're here and you want to tell me what the word is that I'm looking for, flowing through the money flow. Your money's flowing through. So what that does is it actually makes it really easy for you to circulate your money. Because the thing about, and again, the affirmation for today is, every dollar I spend circulates and returns to me multiplied. So this is having to remove some resistance about flowing through the stream. Thank you. Yes, right? Like, why is there not a word for the past tense of flow? Flown? I don't know. That's good. Flowing through the stream. But we're having to think about resistance to spending here, okay? Like wanting to spend intentionally because spending means there will be more in the bank. So baseline here, the first thing, and this is where the mindset work tactically comes into play, you need to understand how much you're spending. You need to understand what you are spending on. You need to see how much you spend month to month to month, and then also be tracking your income, especially if you're a freelancer, especially if you're self-employed, understanding what's coming in month to month to month, so that you can actually then gather evidence that when you spend, more money comes in multiplied. You actually have to have a way to see that inside of your bank accounts so you can prove to yourself that this affirmation is correct, okay? And then also to release resistance to spending, what tracking and seeing your spending does, and when I say tracking, this isn't like a budgeting app, this isn't a spreadsheet, this is literally you're separating bank accounts. And in one bank account is where you're doing your, what I call flex spending, which is your groceries, your entertainment, any miscellaneous spending, like everything you spend on in a month outside of bills and auto pays. This is your flex spending. When you put that on a separate credit card or in a separate bank account, you can so easily see every single month what you spend. So when you have that much clarity and awareness about your spending, you spend very intentionally. And when you spend intentionally, and then you also know exactly what you're bringing in every single month, you can start to piece them together of like, when I spend, it comes back in. When I spend, it comes back in. I've heard a lot of my clients, when they go through the money flow method, when they implement this process, what happens is you basically drain your accounts every month, which is a good thing, okay? Because what you're doing is you're putting money into these accounts for the month ahead. So you're not draining the entirety of your money because you've got money in savings, multiple savings buckets. You're 3 months ahead on bills. You've got money for emergencies. You've got money going to investments. You've got money going to debt payoff. But then you're filling up these accounts with how much you need for bills for the month and how much you need for the rest of your spending for the month. So then you're meant to take those accounts to zero. But then what happens, how we set up the flow, is that at the top of the month, you're refilling those buckets and then you're spending them. You're refilling the accounts and then you're spending them. So you're actually seeing money do a full circulation, go through the full ecosystem of like, it goes away and then it comes back. It goes away and then it comes back. And what this does is it teaches you not to be afraid of spending. It teaches you that when you spend the amount you've decided to spend for the month, that it's going to come back to you and you're going to immediately be able to refill it. This is what the money flow is helping you to do. So again, for those of you who just joined, the affirmation for today is every dollar I spend circulates and returns to me multiplied. So now that I'm off my rant here, let's talk about how to make this affirmation feel more true to you, right? How to make it go deep right? And actually feel true. So I gave a tip earlier about talking to your money every time you swipe a card or hit submit payment. Be like, hey baby, see you soon. Come back with all your friends. And this is what led us into the tactical stuff of like, when you're saying those things to your money, you actually want a place for it to come hang out. So you have a new high yield savings account open that you know when your money comes back, you have a bucket and you know exactly what bucket it's going to come and hang out in and then earn interest before then you put it back into your spending account to be circulated again. Like you have a home for it. You can't be like, come back, baby, I'm so excited for you. But then you lock it up in your savings account and never touch it, right? Tactically, you want a way for it to flow. So with that, we're talking to our money as we're swiping our card, as we're hitting submit payment. But then I want you to do some journaling. Okay, journaling on, and this is for every affirmation we've talked about so far, journaling on where is the resistance to it, right? What about this statement does not feel true? What about this statement does feel true? Ask yourself that question. We can use the what if principle that we talked about in the first 2 days here, where you turn this into a question by adding what if at the front of it. What if every dollar I spend circulated and returned to me multiplied? What would life look like? What would I feel? Oh, that's so interesting. See, when I do the what if principle, it drops it into my body. I felt this the first day that we did this as well, where when I say, what if every dollar I spend circulated and returned to be multiplied, there was like a wave of calm that just like swept over my body. It was like a deep breath that my body took of it's okay to spend because spending isn't scary. Spending doesn't mean you're going broke. Spending doesn't mean you're spending it all. Spending means you're circulating. Spending means you're flowing. Like that's the feeling that I got in my body. It was just like a juicy, deep breath. So let me know if that did something different for you when you're thinking about this affirmation. Again, this is one of we've talked about it every day so far. This is one of my favorite tips for affirmations because it turns it into a question. It lets your brain get curious rather than your brain doing the thing it normally does, which is categorizing it into true and false. Yes, I got the wave of calm and excitement when you added the what if to this one. Yes, exactly. So I'm going to do the what if for the other two affirmations here too. So day one was, I release all resistance to attracting money. When we add what if, it becomes, what if I release all resistance to attracting money? What happens? What would happen if I became that person? That's an interesting thing to journal on. Day two was, making money is easy and enjoyable. So let's add the what if. What if making money was easy and enjoyable? What kind of work would that look like? What kind of work would that look like? And also, what other ways could money come to you that is easy and enjoyable that might be separate from your work, right? What would that dream job description be? For me, I was thinking about like, as an actor, what are the multiple other ways that money could come to me that felt easy and enjoyable while I was an actor? So you can get playful with this. So that's the what if principle. This is one of my favorite things. The other thing that I want to give you a new tip today. One of the tips I want to give you here today is about making yourself feel it in your body. So one of the ways is the what if principle, right? Normally it like gets you curious and gets you excited in your body because you're asking yourself a question. I'm going to journal for days. This series is so amazing. Thank you. Of course, I'm so glad. I feel like this is such a great way to start off the year is instead of like rushing to, I just did a post about this yesterday, instead of rushing to all these like New Year's goals and resolutions around money. Actually, the podcast this Friday is about New Year's resolutions that actually work. Can you tell there's a theme here? It's like making this stuff actually work and hit your goals without just like falling flat or just being floofy mindset stuff. We want shit that works. We want shit that actually makes your bank account look how you want them to. So that's what this Friday's podcast episode is New Year's resolutions that actually work around money. And that's what we're talking about is like starting with some of this mindset stuff, but then in the episode on Friday, talking about like habits and routines versus like goals and like downloading the budgeting app, getting that spreadsheet put together, like, you know, that energy of like, all right, it's fucking time. And you put yourself on this huge like regimen for whatever it is that you're trying to do. And then on what I think is so funny is Friday when the episode comes out is Quitter's Day, which is the day that most people give up their New Year's resolutions. So I think it's funny that the episode is coming out on that day because that's what happens. So exactly, I want us to start here with the foundational work that's actually going to create longevity in your money goals. Longevity and sustainability with the money changes that you're doing right now. So like the work you do with these affirmations and with this journaling, why this is different than like a New Year's resolution with a budgeting app is because this, you can't unlearn. You can't unknow. Once you've journaled about your resistance to every dollar I spend circulates and returns to be multiplied, you're not going to unknow that knowledge, right? Like when I go back through my journals, there's nothing in there where I'm like, oh my God, I totally forgot about that. I'm like, yep, I remember that lesson. Yep, I remember that journaling session. Yep, I remember that. Like you can't unlearn this kind of stuff, but you can easily forget about a budgeting template that you set up, right? You can easily forget about the debt payoff plan you tried because there's nothing that like is in your body about it, right? It's just a thing you're trying to do and you're like, you got a lot going on in your head about what you're trying to do, but you can easily forget that. This work, you can't unknow, you can't unlearn. So then when you start adding in the practical stuff, right, you have this foundational stuff in your body and in your brain to help move you forward. And you know that when you pull up Ally.com to open your high yield savings account and move your money out of Bank of America to Ally Bank, and you find yourself going, nope, and shut your laptop, you know that that's a mindset problem. You know intellectually that that's a better thing for you to do. You know that it's a good thing to put your money into a high yield savings account. You know that it's a good thing to learn about investing and put your money into a Roth IRA or increase your contributions to your 401k. Like, you know intellectually that these things are good for you and your financial wellness. What gets in the way is your thoughts about it, right? A big one about investing is I'm afraid I'm going to fuck this up. I'm afraid I'm going to fuck it up and I'm not going to know what I'm doing and I'm going to lose all my money. Cool. So like, then let's go to the journal and let's figure that out. And when I say journal, like you can also do this by taking a walk and thing. It doesn't have to be physically writing in your journal if you have resistance to that. Ask yourself the question, why am I so terrified of investing? And take yourself on a walk about it. And then ask yourself like, what are the knowledge gaps that I need to fill before I feel confident in it? Great. Go fill those knowledge gaps. Go listen to my podcast episode with Jeremy Schneider of Personal Finance Club, where we literally give you a crash course on investing and tell you exactly how to do it. Like the roadmaps are out there. It's your thoughts that are getting in the way. You could literally, and you could do this as an intention for January, instead of a money goal and a New Year's resolution, decide that every single day you're going to go look at one of my posts or listen to a Not Starving Artist podcast every single day. You will completely change your financial education and your relationship with money just by doing that one time a day, right? Go look at a post, go listen to a podcast episode and do that. Or choose one a week, right? Like, what are the things that are getting in your way from the financial education gaps and then from really letting yourself feel your feelings about money? Like, what are you afraid to feel? So when I say journal, you can also do this on a walk and think, right? It doesn't have to physically be in the journal. Going back to my initial thing that I was saying is making yourself feel something about affirmations. One of the tips I want to give you is that you can you can make yourself feel something in your body in a different way and then add the affirmation in. So you can start to link feelings in your body and a thought by doing the feeling first and then adding the thought in. Okay. So one of my favorite ways to do this is with music. Okay, music for so many of us makes us feel something in our body. I know I have musical theater people here on this video watching this. I know that you have a playlist of those songs that make you feel so much in your body, that make you cry every single time you listen to them, right? For those of you who just seen Wicked and you're having your first big moment about defying gravity, great, listen to that song, right? For me, right now, Queen Herbie, she's one of my faves. Her songs, like, they always just make me feel glittery and lit up inside. So if you have a song, music that does that for you, some people it's like high vibe music where you put on like a certain vibration of music and it like makes you feel like you're an ethereal angel floating above and you feel super high vibe. Whatever makes you feel that in your body, put that song, put that music on. Okay. And then like get that going in your body, dance around a bit, right? If you can find some time alone in your apartment, if you live with roommates or if you live with a partner, if you can find some time alone in your apartment where you can just be like, you have no qualms about someone seeing you or someone walking in on you, dance your little heart out, whatever that means, to that song, get that going in your body, and then bring that affirmation into your brain. So as you're dancing around, right, to that musical theater song that makes you tear up every time, or for me, it's Queen Herbie, then you start saying to yourself, every dollar I spend circulates and returns to be multiplied. What if every dollar I spent circulated and returned to me multiplied, right? And you're going to start saying that as you're feeling those things in your body. So you're going to start making the connection between the feeling and the affirmation. And it's going to activate the affirmation in a different way than if you're just saying it out loud to yourself in the mirror. You can do this with any affirmation too. One of my other favorite things to do is kind of go on a rant. This is something that Amanda Francis does. If you don't know who Amanda Francis is, she talks about money mindset all the time. She's wonderful when it comes to the energetics around money. But she goes on rants, and I think it's actually a really helpful tool where you start kind of ranting and talking to yourself through the affirmation. So you even heard me kind of start to do it as we're like listening to our song, and our affirmation today is every dollar I spend circulates and returns to me multiplied. So I would go, every dollar I spend circulates and returns to me multiplied. What if every dollar I spend circulates and returns to me multiplied? What would life look like? Ooh, that would feel so delicious if I knew that every single time I spend, I never had to worry about going broke, because that dollar is going to go make friends with another dollar and another dollar and another dollar. And those dollars are coming back to me, and I'm putting those in my bank account, and more money's going out and even more money's coming in. I'm feeling the flow of money. So you start like ranting and talking to yourself through this affirmation. And it's really interesting the kinds of phrasing and stuff that comes up when you're doing this like stream of consciousness, talking through this affirmation, and then the bunny trail that it takes you down, and using music and using the things that you're feeling in your body to kind of move through that, especially if you're dancing, especially if you're moving your physical body as you're doing this. It will start to activate the affirmation in a way that it wasn't before. So again, when you're feeling this affirmation, when it feels true, when you're unlocking things into the affirmation, right? Every dollar I spend circulates and returns to be multiplied. The practical action that's going to come from that is, one, you're going to be less terrified to spend money. So your brain's going to spin out less when you have to hit submit payment on rent, or it's going to spin out less when you're having a really bad day and the only thing that you know to boost your mood and give you some dopamine is to go get a boredom coffee at a coffee shop that you really love. Great. Like, you're going to spin out less about that, and you're going to feel better while you're spending. But then also tactically, you know that you're going to want places for your money to come back to and flow through. So then practically, you're going to start looking at your bank accounts differently, making sure that there's places for that money to go and then flow back through. So the affirmation and this like woo mindset stuff then directly affects how you practically manage your dollars. And then when you're asking yourself the question, who is the person who spends money and never is afraid about it leaving forever, who believes that every time she spends, it comes back to her multiplied? Who is that person? What does she think? How does she feel? How does she go about her life? This goes into identity work. This is another great thing to journal on for every single affirmation. So for the first 2 days of affirmations were, I release all resistance to attracting money, and making money is easy and enjoyable. So what you can journal on for each and every one of these affirmations is, who is the person who believes that affirmation? Not just what do they think and how do they feel, but how do they behave? What action do they take? So making money is easy and enjoyable. Who is the person who making money is easy and enjoyable for? How does she think? How does she behave? What does she do day to day to day? Who is the person who has released all resistance to attracting money? Who is that person who does not have any resistance to attracting money? How does she behave? How does she think? How does she move about her days? How does she interact with people? What action is she taking day to day, right? And then with this one, who is the person who is never afraid of spending money because she knows that every dollar that she spends comes back to her multiplied? And then how does she behave? Because when we think about the identity of the person who believes that, the goal here is for you to then embody that identity. So when you're thinking about that person, how do they behave? The person who believes that every dollar they spend circulates and comes back to them multiplied, she's not someone who spends with abandon and without intention. She spends very intentionally because she loves spending. She never has to black out when she makes a spending decision because she knows that every spending decision she makes means she's going to have more money in the future, right? And with that belief, because she believes that, that person also has evidence that money comes back multiplied because she's gone out and made sure that more money is coming to her. She has the energy of money's going out and money's coming in. Money's going out and money's coming in. So she probably looks for opportunities for more money to come into her. And she sets up systems to manage that money for that money to flow through. She has practical ways that she manages her money so that the money can come home, have a snack, and then go out and make more friends. And then come home and have a nice rest in her high yield savings account with all of her friends, have a slumber party, and then go back out, right? Like tactically, she does those things. And what comes up for you in your journaling session and as you're thinking about this affirmation might be different, but asking yourself, like that's another, we can use the what if principle, which is adding a what if to the top of the affirmation to turn it into a question, which will spark something different. But then you can also ask yourself, what is the identity of the person who believes that? And how do they think, behave, and feel? And how can I start thinking, behaving, and feeling in that way? So the practical tip that I gave at the very beginning of this is just start talking to your money as you're spending her. So you swipe a card and you're like, see you soon, baby. Go have fun, be safe, but also not too safe because I want you to make a lot of fucking friends. Right? Like, go have a wild time, come back. Like, I will have a safe place for you. Like, have fun with your money when you're speaking to it. This also helps money feel less like the finance bro stuffy, now we have to do the money spreadsheet things, right? Like it makes it feel less like that. I want money to feel like something that's actually part of your life. And I know so many of you are here. You're not in that stuffy energy. You're not spreadsheet people. Or if you are, you're not one of those people who really fucking loves nerding out over a spreadsheet and doing all the math and really now we're doing money stuff, right? I want money to feel like it's part of your life. I don't want it to feel like it's this separate thing that you have to kind of fit yourself in a box to manage and figure out. I want it to feel like you, right? Talk to your money how you would talk to a friend. Talk to your money how you talk to your partner, because money is a life partner, right? She's not a to-do list. She's something you have to have a relationship with, right? So talk to her, talk about her in a way that feels fun for you. Another thing you can do in this vein, this is a little bit separate than the affirmation that we're doing, but in this vein, change the names of your bank accounts. For the love of God, change it from checking account 7270 and change it to fun spending. Change it to, when we do the money flow method, I have my clients change it to firm and flex, but a lot of my clients will change it to something that means something more to them than just firm and flex, where they'll be these are the bills, but then my savings account is called Future Brooke, right? Because that's when I'm putting money into my savings, I'm not putting money into my savings. I'm paying Future Brooke to go have a good fucking time, right? So change the names of your bank account. My flex spending, instead of calling it flex spending, I call it Money to Spend, right? Because that makes me feel fun. I'm that's my money to play with this month. So name it something fun that activates something in you so that you actually start having a feelings focused relationship with your money while you're doing the practical stuff. How can you make the practical stuff feel less stuffy and feel less scary? Okay, so that's what we're doing here. Change the name of your bank account so when you log in, it's not stuffy, savings 420, savings 720. No, it's Money to Spend and Future Brooke. That's right, baby, right? That's me and my money. I don't know about you and your money, but me and my money, that's how our relationship goes. And when you're talking to your money as you're spending it, talk to it how you would talk to it. Talk about it how you would talk to it. So I'm sure you've noticed when I talk about money, she's out there. She is an energy that I have a relationship with, and she's flowy and she's moving and grooving. She's got her own energy that I am in commune with. That's how I choose to feel about my money. That's the relationship I'm creating with my money. And it has served me well up to this point, and I will continue to develop that relationship with money. So how do you desire to have a relationship with money. She is not just a to-do list. She is a relationship that you get to have, okay? So those are some ways to infuse a little fun with your spending and with your money for this week. So again, those of you who just joined, the affirmation for today was, every dollar I spend circulates and returns to me multiplied. Okay, that's a fun one for you to play with today. So your homework today, journal on that or take a walk and think about it. See what came up for you today as we were talking about it. Like right after this live, I encourage you to take out your journal and note what came up in your body, what came up in your brain, what triggered you from what I was saying, what made you feel excited about what you heard today on this live. Write that data down. Like track your feelings data. Feelings data is just as important as numbers data. So track that. And then today, every time you spend money, I want you to repeat that affirmation to yourself. Everything I spend circulates and comes back to me multiplied. Everything I spend comes back to me, circulates and comes back to me multiplied. As you swipe your card, say to your money, hey baby, I'm spending you. And every time I spend you, I know you're going to circulate. You're going to go have a good time and come back to me multiplied. Speak to her. Okay. That's your job for today. And then I want to hear tomorrow we are doing oh good, I gotta get gas, so I know I'm gonna say that today. That's right, speak to that gas money, right? This is also especially important when you're paying for things that are necessities that don't necessarily light you up. So like rent, gas, utilities, bills, a parking ticket that you got, right? Like those sorts of things. That is doubly as important for you to do this for those things, because spending money on your favorite coffee or spending money on a night out with your friends, that's inherently going to feel like fun and juicy, right? Because you enjoy those things. But some of those stuffier things, I want you to be more intentional about how you speak to it. Of like, when you pay your tax bill, right? Like it is 2025, my accountant is asking for my tax information, right? Like when we've got our tax bills to pay, you got to submit thousands of dollars, right? I say, hey baby, I am sending you straight to my little library down the street. I know that's not how taxes work, but in my brain, that's what I have decided that my taxes go to. My New York Public Library, that is just 2 blocks down. That is where my taxes go, and it goes nowhere else. So every time I go to that library and I see people utilizing the library and I'm checking out my books, I'm like, these are my tax dollars. I fully funded this library. But that's what I say, and I talk to my money when I pay my taxes. Because like, as I'm giggling about paying my tax bill, like who cares if that's how it actually works? I have to pay my taxes. So my choices are, I either don't pay my taxes and I get into legal trouble, or I decide how to feel good about paying my taxes. And that's how I've decided to feel good about paying my taxes. So when it comes to bills and stuff that you don't necessarily love to pay, figure out a way to speak to your money and decide how you want to like view your money circulating in that bill, that payment, that whatever. That makes you feel excited and good, because life is too short to feel anything but juicy and delicious when we are managing or utilizing our money in any way, shape, or form. Okay. So yes, that's your job today. Go talk to your money while you spend. I will see you tomorrow for day 4. Yes, day 4 tomorrow, 9 a.m. Set your alarm. I'll have a countdown on my stories so you can get notified. Make sure you have notifications turned on. Enjoy today. Have fun with this today. I'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks so much for tuning in. Come join me on Instagram for more on how to build a simple, sexy relationship with your money. My Instagram handle is @NotStarvingArtists. And if you want to dive deeper with me, head to the show notes to learn more about one-on-one coaching. If you love this episode, subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a friend that you want to get rich with.